Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. We're so glad you've decided to spend some time with us today. This is your space to relax and let English surround you in a calm and natural way.
That's right. Whether you're on a walk, commuting to work, or just taking a quiet moment at home, this episode is designed for you. Our goal is to provide a long, slow conversation that you can just sink into.
And remember, the most important rule here is not to stress. You absolutely do not need to understand every single word. The real goal is to get used to the rhythm and flow of natural English. Just focus on the general meaning.
Exactly. Today, our topic is something we can all relate to: daily life. We'll be talking about routines, small challenges, simple joys, and the ordinary moments that make up our days. It's about real, everyday English you can actually use. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin.
So, Alex, to start us off, let's talk about the very beginning of the day. Are you a morning person? How do you approach your mornings to set the tone for the rest of the day?
That's a great question. I wouldn't say I'm a natural morning person who jumps out of bed full of energy. I have to be very intentional about it. For me, a good morning is a slow morning. I try to wake up about 30 minutes before I absolutely have to, just to avoid that feeling of rushing. It makes such a difference in my mindset. I find that if I start the day feeling frantic, that feeling tends to follow me around all day.
I completely agree with that. The feeling of being behind before the day has even properly started is the worst. I've found that having a small, consistent ritual helps me a lot. The first thing I do is open the curtains to let the light in, and then I make a cup of tea. It's not a big thing, but that simple act feels grounding. It's a signal to my brain that the day is starting calmly and on my own terms, not because an email or notification is demanding my attention.
On my own terms. I like that phrasing. It's so true. The moment I check my phone, I feel like I'm reacting to everyone else's day instead of starting my own. That's why I have a strict no phone for the first 30 minutes rule. Instead, I like to sit with my coffee and just be. Sometimes I'll just look out the window. It helps me gather my thoughts before I have to start responding to the demands of work and life.
Gathering your thoughts is so important. What about the transition from home life to work life, whether it's a commute or just moving to a different room in the house to work from home? How do you handle that shift in gears? I find that can sometimes be a bit jarring.
It can be. For me, a short walk is essential. Even if it's just 5 minutes around the block before I start work, it creates a clear separation. It's like a mental reset. It tells my brain, okay, the personal time is over, and now we are entering work mode. Without that, I find the lines get very blurry, and it feels like I'm always partially working and partially at home, never fully in one mode.
That's a brilliant idea, a mental commute. I use music in a similar way. I have a specific playlist of calm, instrumental music that I put on right when I'm about to start my work tasks. It's like a switch. The moment that music starts, my brain knows it's time to focus. It helps drown out the distractions of home, like the pile of laundry I need to do or the dishes in the sink.
Right. Creating those sensory cues is so powerful. Let's talk about the middle of the day. How do you deal with that afternoon slump, that period around 2 or 3 p.m. when your energy just vanishes? For me, that can be a real struggle and can make the rest of the workday feel incredibly long and unproductive.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. I used to try to power through it with more coffee, but that just left me feeling jittery and anxious. Now I've learned to lean into it. I schedule a mandatory 15-minute break around that time. I step away from my screen completely. I might do some simple stretches or go outside for some fresh air. It feels counterintuitive to stop when you're busy, but I always come back feeling much more refreshed and focused.
Leaning into it is a great way to put it. I do something similar. I save my easiest, most mindless tasks for that part of the day. Things like organizing files, answering simple emails, or planning for the next day. It allows me to still be productive without requiring a ton of brain power. Then, when my energy returns a bit later, I can tackle the more complex problems again. It's about working with my natural energy rhythm instead of fighting against it.
Working with your rhythm, yes, that applies so much to the end of the day, too. How do you wind down? I find it can be hard to switch off my work brain and actually be present in the evening. My mind will still be running through to do lists or replaying conversations from the day.
That is the biggest challenge for me. Just like the morning walk, I need a ritual to signal the end of the day. For me, it's closing my laptop and immediately changing my clothes. It's a physical signal that the workday is over. Then I make a point of doing something completely unrelated to work, like cooking or listening to a podcast. It has to be something that engages my mind in a different way to pull me out of that work loop.
I find cooking does that for me too. It's mindful and creative. Another thing I do is I write down a short list of the top priorities for the next day. It's a technique called a shutdown ritual. It gets all those swirling thoughts out of my head and onto paper. That way, I can trust that I won't forget anything important and my brain is allowed to fully relax, knowing that everything is captured for tomorrow.
That's a fantastic habit. So, beyond the structure of work, what about the small, unexpected things? Daily life is full of tiny frustrations like misplacing your keys or getting stuck in traffic. How do you try to handle those moments without letting them ruin your whole day?
It's a constant practice, isn't it? My go to method is to take a single deep breath and ask myself, will this matter in 5 hours or tomorrow? Usually the answer is no. This little bit of perspective helps me to not overreact. It doesn't mean the frustration disappears, but it stops it from spiraling and taking over my whole mood. It contains the problem to just that moment.
Containing the problem. I like that. I try to find the silver lining, as tiny as it might be. If I'm stuck in traffic, maybe it's a chance to listen to an extra song on the radio that I love. If a plan gets canceled, maybe it's an unexpected opportunity to have a quiet night in. It's not always easy, but trying to reframe the situation helps me feel less like a victim of my circumstances and more in control of my reaction.
That reframing is a skill. On the flip side, what about the small joys, the little positive moments in daily life that we often overlook? Do you have any that you consciously try to notice or appreciate?
Definitely. The first sip of coffee in the morning is a big one for me. It's such a simple pleasure, but I try to really savor it. Another one is the feeling of the sun on my face, even if it's just for a moment while walking to my car. I found that the more I look for these tiny moments of happiness, the more of them I seem to find. It's like training my brain to see the good.
I love that. For me, it's the sound of birds outside my window in the morning, or the feeling of getting into bed with fresh, clean sheets. It's so easy to rush past these things, but taking just a second to acknowledge them and feel a little bit of gratitude makes a huge difference. It balances out the inevitable frustrations and reminds me that life is mostly made up of these small, quiet, pleasant moments.
It really does. That balance is what makes daily life manageable and ultimately enjoyable. It's not about having perfect days, but about finding the good in ordinary ones.
Absolutely. It's about navigating the mix of it all.
Now, let's explore some of these daily life moments in a more structured way. We have 5 mini situations, and for each one, we'll talk about the situation, a possible reaction, the feeling it causes, and the lesson we can take from it.
Okay, I'll start. Situation number 1. You're in the middle of making dinner and you realize you're missing a crucial ingredient for the recipe.
Okay, my immediate reaction would probably be a sigh of frustration. I'd quickly check the fridge again just in case I missed it. The feeling is one of annoyance because my plan has been disrupted. The lesson, though, is about flexibility. It teaches you to be creative and adapt, either by finding a substitute ingredient or by changing the dinner plan altogether. It's a low-stakes way to practice problem solving.
I like that. Okay, your turn to give one.
All right, situation 2. A friend you were supposed to meet cancels your plans at the last minute.
The initial reaction might be disappointment, especially if you were looking forward to it. The feeling is a letdown. You might even feel a little bit resentful for a moment, but the lesson is about embracing unexpected free time. Instead of seeing it as a loss, you can see it as a gift of a few hours to do something just for yourself. Read a book, watch a movie, or just relax. It's a lesson in self-reliance and finding joy on your own.
That's a great perspective. Here's number 3. Situation. You are trying to focus on an important task, but there are constant interruptions, emails, phone calls, people asking questions.
My reaction would be to feel my stress level rising with each interruption. The feeling is one of being pulled in too many directions, and it's incredibly frustrating because you can't make progress. The lesson here is about setting boundaries. It teaches you the importance of turning off notifications, closing your door, or communicating to others that you need a period of uninterrupted time. The lesson is that you have to be proactive in protecting your focus.
So true. Okay, I have one. Situation 4. You receive an unexpected compliment from a stranger or a coworker.
Oh, that's a nice one. My reaction might be a moment of surprise, maybe even feeling a little bit shy or awkward. The feeling is obviously a positive one. It's a little boost of happiness and validation. The lesson is about the power of small, kind words. It reminds us how easy it is to make someone's day a little bit better, and it encourages us to be more generous with our own compliments to others.
Definitely. Last one. Situation 5. You're running late and you hit every single red light on your way to your destination.
Oh, the reaction is pure agony. You grip the steering wheel tighter and maybe talk to the traffic lights. The feeling is helplessness, like the universe is conspiring against you. But the lesson is about acceptance of what you can't control. Fretting and fuming won't make the lights change any faster. It's a powerful, if frustrating, lesson in letting go and realizing that some things are simply out of your hands.
That's a tough lesson, but a very important one. Speaking of frustrating situations, I have a short story about a very ordinary daily event that went completely wrong.
Oh, I'm ready. Tell me.
So, this was a few months ago. All I had to do was go to the post office to mail a package. A simple 10-minute task. I got in my car, and the first sign of trouble was that my usual route was blocked due to unexpected road construction. No problem, I thought. I'll just take a different way.
Famous last words.
Exactly. So I turn onto a side street thinking I'm clever, but that street leads to another blocked road. My GPS was completely confused and kept telling me to make a U-turn. I ended up in a residential neighborhood I'd never seen before, with winding streets that all looked the same. The feeling of frustration was really starting to build. My simple 10-minute task was now approaching the 30-minute mark.
Oh no, that feeling of being lost when you're so close to home is the worst.
It is. So I finally pulled over. I was so annoyed. I remember saying out loud to myself in the empty car, "This is ridiculous. It's just a post office." I took a deep breath, turned off the GPS, and just looked around. I saw an elderly man watering his garden, so I got out and walked over to him. I said, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I am completely lost. I'm just trying to get to the post office."
Good old-fashioned asking for directions. I love it.
He was so kind. He smiled and gave me these very simple, clear directions that completely ignored the blocked roads. As I was thanking him, he said, "Sometimes the fastest way is the one you don't know yet." That really stuck with me. I followed his directions and I was there in 5 minutes. The whole ordeal turned a simple errand into this mini adventure and the reminder that sometimes you just have to stop, breathe, and ask for help.
What a wonderful story, and what a great piece of wisdom from that man. It shows how a moment of daily frustration can turn into a really positive human connection.
Now, throughout our conversation, we used a lot of natural phrases. Let's go over a few of them to explain what they mean and how to use them.
Great idea. The first phrase is set the tone. This means to establish a particular mood or character for something. For example, a calm morning routine can set the tone for a productive day. Another example could be the manager's positive speech set the tone for the meeting.
Next up, shift in gears. This means to suddenly change what you are doing or thinking. For instance, it can be hard to shift gears from work mode to relaxation mode. Or the conversation was getting too serious, so I tried to shift gears by telling a joke.
Phrase 3 is afternoon slump. This refers to a period in the afternoon, usually after lunch, where you feel tired and have less energy. For example, I always get an afternoon slump around 3 p.m. You could also say, a short walk is the best way to beat the afternoon slump.
Number 4, wind down. This means to relax after a period of activity or excitement. For example, I like to read a book to wind down before I go to sleep. Another example, after a busy week, it's nice to just stay home and wind down on a Friday night.
Let's do go-to method. Your go-to something is the thing you always choose or use. So a go-to method is your most trusted way of doing something. For instance, when I'm stressed, deep breathing is my go-to method for calming down. Or his go-to method for solving problems is to make a pro and con list.
Next, a silver lining. A silver lining is a hopeful or positive aspect in a situation that is otherwise bad. For example, losing my job was awful, but the silver lining was that I had more time to spend with my family. Or the rain ruined our picnic, but the silver lining was that we discovered a wonderful little cafe.
Number 7 is on the flip side. This is a phrase used to introduce an opposing or different point of view. For example, it's a difficult job, but on the flip side, it's very rewarding. Another one, the city is very crowded. On the flip side, there's always something interesting to do.
And finally, low stakes. This describes a situation that has a low level of risk or importance. For example, making a mistake in a practice game is a low-stakes situation. Or trying a new recipe for dinner is a low-stakes way to be creative. If it fails, you can just order a pizza.
Now it's time for some shadowing practice. This is your chance to practice speaking. I will say a sentence from our conversation, and then I'll pause and say again for you to repeat it. Let's begin. A good morning is a slow morning. Again. A good morning is a slow morning. That simple act feels grounding. Again, that simple act feels grounding. It helps me gather my thoughts. Again, it helps me gather my thoughts. How do you deal with that afternoon slump? Again, how do you deal with that afternoon slump? I've learned to lean into it. Again, I've learned to lean into it. It's about working with your natural energy rhythm. Again, it's about working with your natural energy rhythm. How do you wind down? Again, how do you wind down? My go-to method is to take a single deep breath. Again, my go-to method is to take a single deep breath. I try to find a silver lining. Again, I try to find a silver lining. The first sip of coffee in the morning is a big one for me. Again, the first sip of coffee in the morning is a big one for me. The lesson is about flexibility. Again, the lesson is about flexibility. You have to be proactive in protecting your focus. Again, you have to be proactive in protecting your focus. It's a lesson in letting go. Again, it's a lesson in letting go. My simple 10-minute task was now approaching the 30-minute mark. Again, my simple 10-minute task was now approaching the 30-minute mark. Sometimes the fastest way is the one you don't know yet. Again, sometimes the fastest way is the one you don't know yet.
Great job. Now, to help you think more deeply about this topic, we have some questions for you. You can pause and think about your answer or just consider them as we go. 1. What does your ideal morning look like?
That's a nice one to visualize.
2. Do you have a small morning ritual that helps you start the day? 3. Are you more productive in the morning or in the evening?
It's so important to know that about yourself.
4. What helps you focus when you have to do a difficult task? 5. How do you overcome the afternoon slump? 6. What is your favorite way to wind down after a long day?
A classic question for a reason.
7. When a small thing goes wrong, what is your first reaction? 8. Can you think of a silver lining from a recent frustrating experience? 9. Can you think of one small, simple pleasure you experienced today?
I hope everyone can think of at least one.
10. Do you prefer a planned day or a spontaneous one? 11. How do you create a separation between your work life and your personal life? 12. When was the last time you asked for help with a simple problem?
That's a powerful one.
13. What is one small daily task that you secretly enjoy? 14. If your day had one extra hour, how would you spend it? 15. What is one thing you could do tomorrow to make your daily life a little bit better?
As we get close to the end of our conversation, let's quickly recap the main ideas we talked about today.
We started by talking about the importance of routines, especially in the morning and evening. Having small rituals like a slow cup of coffee or a shutdown list for work can help set the tone for your day and allow you to wind down properly.
We also discussed the importance of working with our natural energy rhythms instead of fighting them. This means acknowledging things like the afternoon slump and adjusting our tasks accordingly, which can actually make us more productive in the long run.
Then we moved on to the emotional side of daily life. We talked about how to handle small, everyday frustrations by using perspective and reframing. And on the flip side, the importance of consciously noticing and appreciating the small joys that are all around us.
Ultimately, the theme of our conversation was that a good daily life isn't about perfection. It's about being intentional, flexible, and finding a healthy balance between managing challenges and savoring the simple, pleasant moments.
Now, let's repeat some of the key sentences from our chat one last time, very slowly. Just listen.
I try to give myself at least 30 minutes without any screens.
It's about working with your natural energy rhythm.
It helps me feel less like a victim of my circumstances.
The more I look for these tiny moments of happiness, the more of them I seem to find.
The lesson is about flexibility.
You have to be proactive in protecting your focus.
Small, kind words have the power to make someone's day better.
Sometimes you just have to stop, breathe, and ask for help.
Progress is more important than perfection.
Life is mostly made up of small, quiet, pleasant moments.
And that brings us to the end of our episode. If you listened this far, you've done something truly valuable for your English learning today.
Remember, every minute you spend listening helps your brain get more comfortable with real, natural English. It's not about studying, it's about exposure. You are building a stronger foundation with every episode.
Thank you so much for your time and your attention. We hope this conversation gave you a peaceful space to practice and reflect.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and be kind to yourself in your language journey. We'll be back soon with another conversation. Until then, take care.
If you want more real-life English conversations, watch the next episode and check out our playlist on your screen now.
And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye for now.